We're going to unlock the car first, then open the door and close it again. We're going to push the Start and Stop button to activate the system. Hat unit and instrument cluster are activated as well. We're going to give the system a second.
When I was 6 years old, I broke my leg. And I was wrong.
So let's start off with the steering wheel first. We can use the button on the left to go through the different instrument cluster menus. Media, G-meter, compass, time and date, consumption, trip A, acceleration, tire pressure, and charge e-boost battery. The right one activates the quick actions, for example, changing the cluster layout. Click up and down to go through the menu, and click OK to make a selection. Use the phone button to open recent calls in the IC, then also start and end a phone call. Below, we can use the voice assist.
Cancelled.
Moving on to the right side in our different driving assistance systems, we can activate the ACC, then also adjust the distance to the car in front of us. We can set the ACC, then adjust the speed by using plus and minus, cancel and resume the systems, use autopilot, active driving assist, and of course, also the limiter. In addition, we can find our Start and Stop engine button, as well as the Drive Mode button on the right. However, the car has to be put into drive in order to be able to switch between the different options. So what we're going to do now is start the engine in order to be able to switch between the different drive modes available. We're now going to be looking at the instrument cluster once again. We can use the buttons on the steering wheel to go through the different IC menus. We've seen that before. We can switch between quick actions, for example, the layout consisting of classic, relaxed, or a minimal look. In addition, we can check out recent calls and also operate the head-up display. We can turn it off and on and also adjust the content available. We can also display the recent calls list. We're now going to return to the standard view, then move on to the center part of the instrument cluster. We can switch between different views, for example, map view, consumption, and driving assistance systems. There's messages, as well as trip and speedometer. As already mentioned, we can activate the different advanced driving assistance systems on the right. If we now use the Drive Mode button, we can see them displayed in the IC and in the head unit as well. We're now going to turn the system off, then turn it back on, before we move on to the head unit next. The head unit menu consists of Home, Media, Navigation, Phone, Vehicle, which also contains Settings, and also Apps. We can change the position of the shortcuts on the left and do the same for the status bar. We can add shortcuts by dragging and dropping them to a specific spot.
Alexa.
In the upper bar, we can also find our profile section and our voice assistant. We have to log in via our mobile phone in order to use it first. The head unit itself consists of different pages filled with widgets and shortcuts. We can add pages, then select the layout. It is possible to reorder pages, or delete them. Our next step is going to be the subunit. So let's have a closer look at that. We can change the clock design, switch between different designs and different types of content. We can adjust the light settings, seat settings, as well as ambient light, and of course also use the climate controls. Up next is the gear shift. We're going to have to turn on the engine first, so let's do that. Reverse first, which automatically activates the camera view. So let's try it out. Neutral, as well as drive or manual. And last but not least, We can also select Park. To wrap things up, we're going to turn off the engine next. Goodbye effect in the instrument cluster and in the hat unit. We're going to open the door and close it, then take the key and lock the car.